Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Kim here, and today is a Destash video for my Thriftees and also for items that will be for sale on my coffee site. I worked on one item and I have been giving my Thriftees hints all week when I called it the Saffron Sunsets, and that's all I said was Saffron Sunsets was their hint. And so I worked on this one item. I'm really pleased with how this turned out. There are enough for each of my Thriftees to get one kit. And there are a couple of spare kits that will go for sale in coffee. And if any of my Thriftees decide they don't want the kit, that's fine. Just say no thank you in the comments below. But if you don't want the kit, it will not be available. It's going straight to coffee for sale. So it's a one-shot, no last chances for Thriftees, just so you guys know. If you don't take it, it's not available to anybody else, except for coffee to purchase. So what do my saffron sunsets look like? Well, this is part of it, so I will show you. Here's several kits for you to see. So you can see they're all the same, and there is a little bonus at the end. So I'm going to open one of these kits and get started. So it just started with different things that I was looking to cut up, and then the next thing I went, oh, I just love this. And so it turned out really, really nice. I'm really pleased. So I'm going to start with the bigger pieces first. And that's this, it's a heavier cotton. It probably was a tablecloth of sorts, and it's a really large piece. So you have lots of material here to work with, and you get a few little fuzzy threads from other things. So that's how it starts, and it's in this beautiful shade of purple. This could be used as a journal cover, as a journal liner, as all kinds of extra things. And then this isn't quite as large, but you probably could get a journal cover out of here really nicely. It is a very soft, this is an old piece of fabric. So there may be some wear marks here and there in it, but if you're using it for a cover, or even if you're using it for pieces, you can cover up any flaws that are in it. But it's a very old piece of kind of a pile with the stripes in between. So I hope you can see that a little bit. But just love this fabric. It's very, very soft, and again, can be used for a cover or for making embellishments, all kinds of fun things. So there's that one. And then I thought, well, I needed a liner. And I didn't really have anything in my stash that was dominantly purple. And I worried about, the purples that I did find, I worried about was going in the wrong direction for me, because this is just another jewel tone to me. This is like very luscious colors and stuff. So I chose this one, and that's where the orange came in. There is your sunset coming through. So again, this is another vintage fabric in my stash. There's a little bit of purple, but this is where you can start to introduce other colors. You can introduce this kind of an olivey green, the orange, the brighter green, the yellow, the purple. It's kind of a purpley pink color, so you could go into the hues of pink as well. So I'm just going to lay that down, and I'm going to put this one so that we can sort of see everything here. So you can see how vibrant the color is. So again, you could use this on the outside, use that as a liner, use this to make pockets, vice versa. You could use the orange as a liner, but just fun stuff. And then I started to cut up garments. And, some garments I cut out the specific pieces. And while others, I cut them however it works. But a lot of the garments that I get are very tiny, tiny garments. Some of these girls were very, very, very tiny. And so I don't necessarily get, a big square like this to offer anybody. So a lot of times you're going to find pieces, but they're meant to be more of an accent or an embellishment, just like little extras. So some of the pieces are irregular shape, because there were darts. There's all kinds of things that are sewn over and little puckers and tucks. So I have to cut around those to make it worthwhile. And it's almost impossible to, I mean, I do go through darts sometimes with fabric, but these darts are so tiny and they use thread that was so fine and short stitches that it would just shred the fabric. So I had to cut around them. So instead of trying to cut you a square or a rectangular piece exact, I put my plate down that I use for measuring, and I just cut out whatever it was, well, you'll see, to make it worth your while. And then some fabrics, I'm just cutting out the little accent pieces. So I look at it from different points of view as to what you get. So it's a combination of a journal kit that you can use for embellishments. You can make clusters. You can do a lot of slow stitching with these kits. And so that is the fun part. I'm able to give you all different kinds of things. So this one, now it was the flowers I was cutting out, not the fabric. Does that make sense now? So, you may have a piece of fabric that's more this size, but you're getting 3 flowers. Now, if I couldn't give you 3 flowers, you might have gotten some other parts of the embellishment. So, because it only has one collar, and a lot of times they're quite heavily decorated around the collar. So I just cut out a piece that worked, and I kind of made it equivalent to getting 3 flowers. So you don't know what you're going to get. It's a surprise each time, but this is the kind of pieces that now I'm cutting out to give you those extra slow stitch and embellishment type pieces. So then there was this rust fabric, and this one I got a fairly straight piece. I think I was really only supposed to go about here, like sort of a 5x7 kind of thing. But again, these are sewn in panels, so I don't want to give you the rough edge where there's a seam that you're going to have to try to cut around anyway. So I cut off the seams. I use the seams for myself. But I cut off the seams, and then I give you a more straighter, cleaner type of piece. Now, the same was with this one. So it's kind of the same size, sort of. But you can see, I didn't take away this extra bit, because what am I going to do? Cut it off and then keep the scraps? I have enough scraps. I'll give you the scraps. But this is a beautiful fabric. It's picking up the greens, the yellows in here, and it's just a complement to the rust colors. And all of these little bits can be used for making clusters and snippets and tabs and all those little extra bits. You will find stitch lines, like this one has a stitch line in here where I've ripped the threads out. Sometimes you'll find a seam. Sometimes you'll find thin spots, because these were garments that were worn, and some of them are vintage. But it's all to use for, again, slow stitching. I don't know why I have to keep explaining myself, but I do. And this one has some really cute little rhinestones. I think they're only glued on. Yeah, they're only glued on. So there may be some missing. I don't know. It's one of those things. It's slow stitching. Then I gave you a piece of this crochet doily. I don't know if you remember some of my thrifties. I did offer this earlier in the year. Nobody took them, so I'm cutting them up. And so I offer you a piece of that you can use to embellish. It's great to make like a little corner pocket on something. Let's just show you here. It's been so handy having this little book. So you could make like a little corner pocket. So you have enough to do 4 pockets on here if you wanted to do it that way, or use it as a base for layering. Fun stuff. And then I had a strip of this fabric. So it's about a 12-inch piece. It was the edge of a scarf that went around the 2 of the sides. So I cut off the extra edge and then cut up pieces for everybody to have. And again, it's to either accent, if you were to put it on the front of a journal page or a journal cover, you could use it to make two pockets and have a decorative piece on here. It's up to you, right? So we've got that one. And then I had a garment that had this tulle that had the little flower embellishments on it. So I just cut, I had enough to make for everybody and keep a little piece for myself. So I cut that up and gave to everybody. And then this tulle was actually a scarf, and it came with this gold trim on it. So all I did is I cut it off the scarf the same way I cut this one, and gave everybody a piece, because if I would have cut it the other way, you would have probably got a smaller piece. If you compare it to the scarf, you would have got a smaller piece when I was cutting because of how much fabric there was to the trim. And you get the threads that come with it. And I haven't even taken the orange tulle off of the back. So, you know, if you took a seam ripper and took this off, you'd have a little extra piece of tulle. You could take this gold ribbon apart from this trim on the bottom. They are sewn together. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yeah. So they are sewn together. So you could make two trims out of it or leave it the way it is. I had this other trim in the purple. Very pretty. This was a guitar strap. And I was able to get enough pieces for the kit. It's only 6 inches, but it'll make a nice belly band or an embellishment, or you can cut it in half and make two embellishments out of it, or a little trim on the front of a journal cover. So if we go back to this purple one, you could add it as a little band on the front and use it to tuck something in, or as a, you know, start of a pocket. I had just enough, and I don't know if you remember when I bought that. I bought that at the flea market, and it just happened to be hanging somewhere where I went past while I was working on this kit, and I went, oh, look at that! I have to add that now. And so again, you can see there's the orange, there's the yellow, the purple in here. So it's bringing this all together. And then I had a piece of this purple lace. And I thought, well, that would be, again, nice to use for embellishing and trimming. And this purple trim. Whether you use this all together or separate, that's up to you. And another purple trim with, it's kind of a braided gold ribbon with purple in it. And then some peach. Everything's getting caught on me here. Some peach pearls. These are great for doing some stitching. I think there's a yard here. Yeah, a yard. So great for doing some stitching and couching onto your project. And then this is another piece of trim that has a little bit of pink in it. So again, it's picking up the lighter color in this orange trim. So fun pieces to layer together. And then I gave you some fibers. There's 2 different kinds here. There is this boa trim here, and it's like a deeper purple color, which is complementary to everything here. And then this is kind of a variegated mix of these colors. So there's a little bit of yellow, a little bit of orange, purple. So it's a nice mix. So you've got some yardage here. I think there's 3 yards of each here. So you could make some tassels, braided trims. In case you wanted to do some slow stitching, I gave you some this is needle punch cord. I don't know if you remember when I got a whole schwack of it. So I just picked out the colors that were in here and added that. And, you know, there's a lot of yardage here. There's probably about 20 yards. So if you wanted to do some slow stitching, you know, it takes a bit to do like a slip stitch around something or you know, create multiple French knots and stuff. But it's so beautiful. So it's fun to work with. And then I added some beady type bling, beaded bling. There are 6 pieces of bling in here. So you get 2 of each sort of, you know, they'll vary because I don't have necessarily every single one the same, and I just grabbed to make sure you had 2 purple, 2 orange, and 2 purple and orange together. So we'll just lay that down in there too. And so that is my kit. But then I remembered a while back I had done a digital printout of, I called them sun goddesses, but now they're my saffron goddesses. So it is a digital freebie that is available on my blog. If you go to my blog, you might have to do some searching. It's in the 400s range, I think. I think it's in the 400s range. So if you are familiar with my blog, just go on and look on the archives, which is on the left-hand side of the blog. You'll see, 1 to 100, 101 to 200, and so on. So I think it's in the 4 to 500s. And this is my sun goddess. So I am including this image printed for you on a very high gloss Kodak paper. And it's, it's got a little bit of substance to it, so you can make some beautiful journal cards to go with it. And, I could keep going and going and going, but it takes forever to do all this stuff. So I just looked at it that all the colors in here you can further enhance by adding things yourself to create your own book. And each book would be different. If I gave this kit to 50 people, if I had that many, everybody would come back with something different. Although I'm still waiting to see something. Will somebody show me something? I just feel sometimes like I make all these kits, I make all these digitals, and I never, ever see anything. And if I do, it's very, very rare, and it's, just a little tiny bit. Like I'll just see some little thing and I'll go, oh yeah, I think that's mine. So I would love to see some of your creativity and share it back with me to inspire me as well. But this is my kit. And so if the Thrifties would like to get this kit, it comes packaged up like this, and it will have, I'll have a separate sleeve with your photo sheet in it. So please, Thrifties, let me know if you would like to have one. If you want to be on the advance and get one of these kits to purchase, if you're not a member of my Thrifty group, then, you can always send me a private message or message me here on this video, and we will arrange to get together as well as payment. The kit will be $30, and there is a shipping charge of $15. Now, if you go and buy it direct on Coffee, you will be subject to buying 2 product items on Coffee in order to take advantage of the $15 shipping charge. If you're buying it direct from me through e-transfer, then of course you only have to buy the one kit, and it's $30 plus the $15 shipping, so it would be $45. So that's my kit, and that's my Saffron Sunsets. I hope you like it, and I hope, Thrifties, that you will enjoy taking one of these. I hope it's the right colors. And that's it. That's all. I wish you all a very creative day and a creative week, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye for now.